We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a load of money.
Welcome to the Money Tree Show, where we bring you high-level multifamily investors as well as industry-leading experts. We tease out the skills they've acquired, the habits, and the mindset they've developed to make them ultra-successful in the real estate space. It is our goal to give you the knowledge you need to either start your multifamily journey or expand your current portfolio. Whether you're an active investor or looking for a passive investment to supplement your income, this is the podcast for you.
Hello, everybody. How are you today? This is Anthony Vandimer. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Damon, part of the Money Tree Show. We have a very special guest today. We have the Bill Murray of real estate being interviewed by the Matt Damon of real estate. So we got a good show prepared today. Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Anthony. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Everything's good. I'm on with you too. This is life is good, man. I want to just jump into it. If you could just give us your background, how you started thinking about getting into real estate, how you got into real estate.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
You're great.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate the introduction for the celebrity podcast today with Matt Damon. So we'll get rocking. So I was interested in real estate for a while, and it was probably like 4 years ago now. As I was working, I was looking for a way to replace my W-2, start figuring out what else can I do on the side, so that way there I can create my own business and start doing things on my own, have that flexibility, that freedom. And I just stumbled across, real estate investing. Started diving into it and really got excited about it. Started learning as much as I could, reading books, listening to podcasts, going on YouTube, anything I could find. I just really started diving in to real estate. I found Jake and Gino at that time, signed up Jake and Gino Club, started learning from them, people in the club. And I was probably about a year in. And that's when, COVID started right in 2020. So then my work went remote. So I was working from home, still looking how to do real estate. And I'm sitting here one day and I can remember it vividly. I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just like, all right, I've been researching this for a year, but I haven't done a damn thing with it. I've just been researching, analysis paralysis. So I can't do this because, I don't know about this little piece here or this little piece here. And I said, today's the turning point. Either I'm going to buy a property in the next month or I'm just going to quit pretending I want to do real estate, because I keep telling people, but I haven't done anything.
Nice.
And then from there, I just really started analyzing more deals. Had an off-market property come through my inbox, 6 unit in Manchester, New Hampshire. Went and looked at it. I was nervous, being like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I keep hearing you got to take massive action. You got to take steps. So I put in an offer, ended up getting accepted, and that's when I started. So I started the 6 unit in October of 2020. In April of 2021, me and my brother bought a 13 unit, and then we've bought a couple more since. So a 5 unit. We just closed on a 12 unit, and I got another 12 unit I'm closing on in about 2 weeks. So it just starts snowballing, but it's all about taking that action. You just got to get, you got to get started. And so I did all this. I was working, my W-2 at the time. So just doing it mornings, lunch breaks, evenings, whenever I could, researching, making calls in the bathroom, just figuring out how to get it done.
Yep.
That's incredible, Bill. All right, so back up a little bit. Do you live in New Hampshire? I know you said you bought a 6 unit in Manchester. Where are the other units that you purchased?
Yeah. Sorry, I skipped over that part. I am from Salem, New Hampshire. I live in Salem, New Hampshire. So I've been in Southern New Hampshire pretty much my whole life. The units I bought 2 in Manchester, New Hampshire. I have 1 in Pennacook, New Hampshire, which is just a little bit north of Concord, still considered Concord. And then I just closed on 1 in Derry, New Hampshire, which is southern New Hampshire as well. And the one I'm working on now is in Antrim, New Hampshire, which is which is a little northwest out towards like Hillsborough, heading towards Keene, New Hampshire.
That's amazing. Okay, so you're working your W-2 job in New Hampshire. You're living in New Hampshire. You're going around. You're spending your nights, weekends, afternoons, any free time you got, and you're starting to analyze properties. Really putting that, putting that action, starting to get those action steps going. No more practice rounds. You're really trying to find something. Talk to us about that first deal. So you find your first deal. Obviously, you must have been nervous. It must have been something that you like. You're stuck in analysis paralysis for a year, right? So tell our listeners how you got the gumption to go for it.
Yeah, like I said, it was a decision that it was either now or never, because I was sick of pretending that I was going to do something and not doing it. And I had saved up a bunch of money. I had a really good W-2 job where I made really good money. I ran a staffing company. We did placements of travel nurses nationwide. So I've been there for 12 years, and I had some savings. I'd also opened up a whole life insurance policy a few years back, learning from the Jake and Gino group. And when the property came, I was like, well, if it fails, I'm going to put 25% down. I purchased it. It's a 6-unit for $585. 25% down. I borrowed some from my whole life, and I had the rest saved up. I was like, well, it is what it is. I either make it work or I resell it, and if it doesn't work, I might lose a little bit of money, but it's not going to make me go, bankrupt by any chance. So when I looked at it that way, I was like, all right, now it's time to just make a move, just take action. And everything I've learned and read is great, but until you actually apply it, you really don't know about it, right? You can read all you want, but you don't understand how things really work until you do them. I just hopped right in the offer, got accepted, hopped right in and started learning. What I wanted to do is learn, all right, what do I have to do? What do I have to do next? Oh, forgot to buy this or cool, I'll just go do it. And you just get it done. It's just about getting things done. There's nothing to me besides in your head that's overly complicated. It's just solving problems and figuring out how you're going to solve them.
Right. So I think the key points there that you mentioned are a few. One, you got education, right? You got educated in what to look for. You learned how to analyze deals. So when this deal came in, you already knew it was a good deal. It already met your criteria. And so then you were saying, okay, is it the right property? You went out and you said, this is the one. This is the one that we're going to do. And you kind of put a time frame. You time box yourself to say, like, this is our window. I've been looking for it forever. And now it's time to take action. And I think that a lot of our listeners get stuck in that stage of, they've gotten some education. They're definitely interested. They're on the fence. And then finally there's like a turning point where they're like, okay, it's time to go.
Agree.
How has that performed? How have you done?
Yeah, that property has been great. It's one of my best performing properties so far. And it was because I bought it right at the correct time. I mean, you just got to go out. There's no best time. It's just the time is now. You just got to get things done whenever you can, whenever something looks good, and act upon it. Because of the way the market was and how it adjusted and the way the rents have adjusted since, I mean, that property has been cash flowing from day one, and it's at a really steady stream of income knock on wood, without a lot of issues. So I got it fixed up at the beginning, did what I had to do, and now it's pretty smooth on the back end. And there are issues. There's always going to be issues, but it's not there's a ton at once. We're just moving with it.
Yeah, that's awesome, Bill. I remember the the nerves, like they were so severe on that first property. Like I remember, I got an accepted offer, and the stock market dipped like 300 points the day I got accepted. I was like, oh my God, world's coming to an end. I came close to backing out, but I told myself, if you back out, never talk about real estate again. I love talking about it, but we all need something to push us forward, just past that one. And then once you see it's actually working, then you're like, when's the next one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So, sorry, Anthony.
No, I was gonna say. So it sounds like in the beginning, I didn't do much with partnerships. Which I mildly regret. It sounds like you started right off with partnerships. Sounds like your brother, which is awesome because you can trust him right away.
Mm-hmm.
What how are what are your current partners? How's that work? How do one of you guys have a specific role? If you could go into the team sport of multifamily a little bit, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So the first property was my own, and then the other property came up with not even 6 months later. I didn't have the cash to buy. That was a 13 unit. The next property, I didn't have the cash. My brother had some extra. So that's when we started partner up together, split the property, and then started working on the property together. I handled a lot of the back end, and I was also doing some of the asset management and property management. So I was doing a lot during the day. And then we got that one pretty stabilized then we purchased another one together. So that way they were splitting the money so we can go a little bit further, a little bit faster since we're going together. But it's still looking now as I grow, to your point, Anthony, how do you partner more so you can get more people involved, maybe take a little less, but you can get bigger deals, which ends up paying off for you in the long run, and everyone has different roles. Now you're not doing everything yourself, and it's a little more fun that way. I'll say when you're doing everything yourself, it adds up quick.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I think it's also a really awesome opportunity to get surrounded by. There's the phrase that we all hear about. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? And so sometimes doing a joint venture or joining up in a syndication with someone, it's a really cool way to surround yourself with some really high level thinkers and folks that are taking serious action. It's a great way to boost your friend group with some super high quality friends.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. Actually, this morning I met up with my buddy Bob, who invests in New Hampshire as well. We met at a meetup group, and it just happened we both had bid on the same property. He won. We just happened to be at the same table chatting. Now we've been like great buddies for over a year. We meet up for breakfast like once or twice a month, and it's awesome. It's the people you hang around with.
Yeah. So Bill, let's fast forward a little bit. You got a really fun story that I've had the fortune of listening to at some Jake and Gino events and some other places. Can you talk a little bit about your career and some of the changes? And you built up a large portfolio. You got some cash coming in from your units, and that's certainly helping pay the bills. Talk a little bit about this element of your career.
Sure. As mentioned, I worked at a staffing firm. So we worked placing travel nurses nationwide. So very lucrative business. I was there at the same company for 12 years. I worked my way up to running pretty much the whole division of staffing. I was the senior vice president of staffing services. And I helped grow the company from when I first started. We were around 8 million in sales. And then we brought it up to, I don't know what the numbers were this past year, but the year before it, just to over 100 million. So it was a fun journey from 2016 till recently. We were on a roller coaster ride of a lot of fun. Having said that, since we grew so fast and so much, we ended up selling out to a private equity group who bought us out just over a year ago. And they brought in a lot of changes recently. And the thing is I'm so used to running everything, building the teams, running how I like it, growing the company. And there was a lot of changes I just didn't agree with. And they could tell too, they didn't want my style the way their style was. And since I've been working on real estate so much in the back end, I had acquired up to that point, I think 36 units. That's bringing in a pretty decent amount of cash flow. It wasn't covered. I had a pretty good job where I was making over 6 figures. And this doesn't quite cover the income. But when push came to shove and I wasn't happy at my current position, we decided to part ways as a company. So after 12 years of working in a staffing company, not that I feel overly comfortable, I'm still working on it, but I felt comfortable enough that I'm going to give real estate investing full-time a go because I've already built it up to X. Working a full-time job. Now this is my full-time job. What am I capable of? How can I hold myself responsible, get after it, and make it happen? So in November of this past year, I ended up leaving my W-2, and now I'm investing in real estate full time.
Nice, man. Bill, that's amazing. I mean, can you give a little bit of the backstory on the mindset that you had? Like, I feel a lot, and this is coming selfishly from me. I want to know because I'm currently in a W-2. How'd you get past that fear? And for you, it seems like there was a good catalyst, but still, I'm sure you could have walked their walk and you could have stayed longer. You decided not to do that, which, kind of increased, your rate of you leaving. What was the mindset there to kind of get over the fear of leaving that comfortable W-2? And then also, if you don't mind, you don't have to give specifics, but calculations, like, did you say, all right, I'm 60% there with the tax savings as a real estate professional, I'll get this much closer? Like, what was, besides the mindset first, so that if you don't mind getting behind the mechanics of leaving a W-2?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the mindset it was similar to the mindset I had when I decided either I got to buy a property now or stop talking about I'm a real estate investor. Same thing. Either I make the jump now or I stay miserable, not miserable, but the way the job was changing, miserable in my job, going through the motions, just showing up to be a body in a seat versus doing what I really like, creating that freedom. And once again, this was my plan. It happened sooner than expected, but I've been talking about this forever, right? How do I get out of my W-2? What does that look like? The opportunity presented itself, and it's now you either jump in the deep end and just learn how to swim, or you sit on the sidelines, and stick your toes in the water. So I'm like, it's time to jump in. Like, let's make it happen. I'm still in my own head, but the worst case scenario is I could go get another job. If I needed to, I could go get another position. I could go work for someone else, but I don't want to work for someone else anymore. I want to work for myself.
Heck yeah.
And they gave me that opportunity in a general sense is, all right, they've given me the opportunity to go spread my wings and make it happen on what I've been talking about. And then on the back end, on the pay side of things, I've been working for the company for a while. I had some stock in the company that I was able to pull out. So that helped me make this decision as well, being like, all right, I am not quite there, probably not even 50% to my income where I need to be. However, if we can cut back on expenses, if I can start propelling some of the properties I have forward, refinance and buying some more, using the money that I have kind of stored up in these properties or in the bank or with my current house, then I can start moving that forward. I'll become a real estate professional, get more tax deductions. And now I can at least, even if it's in a sense, breaking even to cover expenses. Well, now I'm living on my terms, and it's been so much more freeing, I should say, that I'm just able to do what I like to do during the day. I'm able to spend more time with my kids. I'm coaching 2 wrestling programs now, going to all their meets, and I'm not missing things. And that's what I love.
Awesome.
This is what I love about your story, Bill, because for most people, all of us were in this place at one point. We had one stream of income, right? And that was our W-2 job. And then over time, you started taking what felt like big action, but action. You started taking action to become more financially free, and you picked up another stream, and then a third stream, and then a fourth stream, fifth stream, and so forth. And now you're at a point where, hey, listen, all of your bills are perhaps not fully covered by real estate. All of your lifestyles perhaps not all the way covered by real estate, but a chunk of it is. So that when you did decide to step away from your W-2 job, it was that much easier. You could go take a lower paying job and still have the same exact lifestyle you had before. And that is the financial freedom that could come through multifamily real estate. And that's what all of us are here to tell our stories about, because every one of us has gotten some taste of that, and I think that's the freeing part that we want more and more people to become aware of and to achieve for themselves.
Yeah, I agree, 1,000%. The thing is too, financially free. I'm can do this, do that. I don't have a job. This is great. It's, oh, I don't have a job. What do I have to do now to compensate, to move forward? So that way there I can keep building so I don't have to go back to a job.
Oh yeah, you take those 40 hours a week you were working, you sink that into multifamily or even half of that, and you're off to the forget it. You're a rocket ship, you know?
That's what we're going for.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about habits and routines.
Sure.
So, you know, we hear the phrase success leaves clues. You're a guy who you know, for viewers who are listening instead of watching, Bill's a very muscular guy. He certainly keeps up and works out. He's coaching wrestling and so forth. You probably were a wrestler prior, you know, in college and high school and so forth.
Yeah.
We know that the most successful people out there, there are habits and routines that they follow, and that's what enables their success. Can you share a little bit about the habits and successes the habits and routines that you have that have enabled your success?
Yeah, for sure. I've always been a sports, wrestling was a big thing, and wrestling was always mental toughness, discipline, eating right, working out. I mean, that's what propelled me to be successful in life was, doing that sport and doing it well. So that's carried over. And it's, once again, it's what you want to achieve, you make a priority and do that first. And when people say they have no time or can't do this, it's just that it's not one of their priorities. So working out's always been a priority of mine. It helps clear my mind, helps me stay physically fit, helps me get going. So for a long time now, I used to get up earlier. I used to get up at 4 a.m. to get to the gym, but now it's closer to 5 I get up. So I slept, but it's every morning. I'm up 5 a.m. the gym. That's how I start my day. I go in, I hit my 45 minutes to an hour. I just hit it as hard as I can so I can get back, get my kids on the bus. Then it's eating, right? It's your mind and your body are always, to me, working together. So if you feed yourself like crap, then you're going to perform like crap. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to perform like crap. It's all in sync. So I try to stay healthy. I run, I lift, I work out, and I try to eat as healthy as I can. And sometimes are better than others, but you stay on that rhythm. And then it's also, mentally, I'm listening to podcasts. When I work out, I listen to podcasts now. I used to listen to music, but about 2 or 3 years ago, now I'm just cycling through podcasts as I lift. I mean, you could be benching like, 200 or something and just listening to a podcast like, oh, this is how you refinance. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, but you get used to it and you try to put as much good stuff into your body as possible. And I also work on reading at least a book a month. I'm off and on with meditation or visualization, but I try to incorporate it. I've been incorporating, cold showers or cold plunges, as much as I can over the past year to keep myself. I just try to do different things to put my body in shock, stuff that isn't comfortable, that I'm not used to change up what I'm doing. And that's what's helped drive me forward in real estate. As you get comfortable, you get, shouldn't say lazy, but you do get lazy because it's just a routine. So I try to change things up to keep myself sharp and to keep moving forward.
Anthony, have you done the cold showers? Have you done any of the cold plunges yet?
I've done the cold showers. I don't think I'm quite as cold as I should be, but I feel like it's pretty cold, I mean, I think Bill, you hit the nail on the head with mental toughness. I think it's all really intertwined, it's, if you're waking up at 5 a.m. to work out and your day is starting at 7 after the kids are off to school or even a little later, but like if something hits you, if you get stressed out over something regarding real estate, like you're already primed for the day,
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts on how you first cultivated the mental toughness? You think it was sports as a kid or just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I really do. Like I said, it was discipline for wrestling. So I always I was a pretty good wrestler in high school, and I always, making weights, staying on your game. Like as soon as you start slacking, everyone else catches up to you. So I was working out 2-3 times a day, watching what I ate, cutting weight to get down to a certain, and it just builds this mental toughness. Like there isn't a question whether you're going to do it. It's just, you're going to do it and get it done no matter what it takes, you're going to get it done. And I would just do it. I wouldn't, if I needed to lose 5 pounds in a day. I know it's not healthy back then. I don't do that anymore, but I would get it done. I'd figure out a way. And so when you start to know that as you think through things and there is no other option, you take any option off failure is off the table. You figure out a way to get it done.
Nice.
100%. I love the get physically fit and get mentally fit at the same time. You're putting, positive thoughts and education inside of your brain to start the day. And by the way, I've become a big fan of cold showers. I think that the mental clarity that comes out of having a ice cold shower, I can't find any place to do a cold plunge, Bill. So you have to give me some hints. But the cold showers for me are like, they're game changers. I often end my day with a cold shower and then like think through like what were my top 3 wins for the day, and then boom, hit the sack and go to bed. Tough to take a cold shower in Barbados since the water's probably like 60 degrees coming out of tap. But
yeah, must be rough.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
So anywho, all right. So talk to us a little bit about it's a new year. Everyone's thinking about goals. You're in a new position where you are now a full-time real estate investor. It's something you've been building towards for a long time. What are you excited about for 2023? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to accomplish?
I'm uber excited to get rocking and rolling on real estate. I mean, I planned out my goals, my vision for the year on where I want to be, how I want to get there, what it takes. And I modified it a little bit, meaning what's going to take me, what I need to do daily to get to the bigger goal is broken down more in like sprints. But then the bigger goal is like, here's what I want to accomplish. Like I want to get to 150 units for the year, but it's also like, all right, I also want X amount of cash flow. Like I need to hit, let's say 15,000 in cash flow a month by this date. And then by the end of the year, I want to be at 20,000 a month in cash flow. And it's all right, what do I need to do now daily, weekly to get there? But I've mapped it out, and how do I start working towards it? It's okay, I can make 15 calls a day, but if that's not yielding it, I might need 30 calls a day. I might need 40 calls a day. So I need to just know, here's the goal I need to hit. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to get there. But I'm excited to really dive into real estate, really start analyzing more properties, figuring out ways to get bigger deals, because you do run out of cash pretty quick if you're trying to do things on your own. So what does it look like to partner? How do I meet more people? I mean, I have on my goals is like going to more real estate meetups, going to meet, people who are in the business, where I want to be. How do I connect with them? What does that look like? One of my goals, it's funny you guys reached out, was to be on a podcast this year. So I hit it a lot sooner than I even anticipated. So I appreciate you guys. And it's, how do you keep this momentum going? And that's what I'm excited about, is figuring out now it's on me, and I'm the only one that can let myself down is me. So how do I get through that?
Dude, that's awesome, man. Bill, this has been great. This is I'm fully inspired with this podcast. We got a few questions for you as we get close to wrapping up. I know you mentioned you read a lot. Do you have any specific books, podcasts, things that you've been listening to and reading recently that you could recommend?
Yeah, it all depends. So I've been trying to, on the situation I'm in and where I want to go, I've been getting books along those way. The podcast is always, I listen to some Bigger Pockets, Jake and Gino, and then my guy, Ed Milet. I love Ed Milet, and Andy Frisella. I do listen to him too. So those are like my 4 go-tos that I cycle through. It depends on my mood. Some mornings I'll be Andy Frisella. Anytime Ed comes out on Tuesday, I'm on Ed. He had Tony Robbins this morning. I was listening to that. And then it's the Bigger Pockets and Jake and Gino. On the reading side, I just finished Go for No, which is kind of like a sales book to get me in that mental mindset of like, all right, it's not about the yeses and then taking a break. It's like, all right, I got to hit more no's in order to get those yeses. The other book that I would highly recommend, there's a couple of real estate books out there. Obviously, everyone says Rich Dad Poor Dad. There was multifamily apartment investing by Keller. I think it was Gary Keller. That was the one I first read to really get started. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and that's when it propelled me forward. But I've also read by Bill Ham, was the creative cash flow, which is a good one. All right, now we're in a weird market. How do I make more creative offers in order to get deals done? Like just sidetrack a second, but the Derry property my brother and I just closed on, 12 units in Derry, which is an expensive market in southern New Hampshire. We had the bank carry half the note and the seller carry the other half. So we really didn't have to bring anything to the table to get that deal done.
Amazing. Super helpful. And that is another way to preserve some capital that allows you to go out and accelerate your journey, right?
That's
there's so many ways to do it if you know how to do it and you take action. If you take steady action, you'll find opportunity. All right, this is the Money Tree Show, where we teach people how to build passive streams of income. You've done it, you're doing it. So give us some advice. If there's an audience member who's sitting on the sidelines, wants to invest, say $50,000, get into the real estate game, but fear is holding them back, give them some advice.
Yeah, it's just going to be the same advice I've kind of reiterated throughout: is you have to take action. Whether it's going to be good or bad, that's the best way to learn. If you're sitting there wondering if you should do it, then just go do it. What's the worst that could happen is, it's a lot. You could lose, say, 50K, but you learned in the process. And that learning is going to propel you to now make millions, or you'll go back to your regular job, 50K less, and you'll figure out a way to make it up over time. But at least you tried it. Because to me, the biggest regret in life is not trying, right? You're going to look back and it's not where you failed. It's that you never did it. You never tried it. And those are the ones that repeat in your head, or at least mine, multiple times, that I wish I did this, but I didn't. And now I don't have the chance to. So as I thought through real estate, and I will say this to the audience, is as you're thinking of it, are you going to look back in 10 or 15 years and be like, I wish I invested back then. I was on the verge of it, but I was too scared. Now I'm kicking myself. Or would you rather say, hey, I tried it back then, didn't work out, but now I can say at least I tried it and it didn't work out. So if you think about that, it's just taking massive action.
Dude, heck yeah. Forget Ed Milet. I'm listening to Bill Murray from here on in. That's what I'm doing. Dude, that was fantastic. Dude, thanks again for coming on. We very much, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your friendship. Does it sound like you might be looking to raise some capital for deals down the road coming up, or what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, that's going to be one of my next ventures, is as I get into bigger deals, how am I going to start raising capital? What does that look like? And start building up a portfolio of larger properties where the capital raising will be a necessity.
Perfect. Well, New Hampshire's an awesome market. If you're so inclined, if you want to give the listeners some contact information where they can reach you.
Sure. Right now I'm working on a website. I'm working on a few different property websites so I can get my stuff online. I don't have it done yet. They can always call me. I'm love talking real estate. So anytime, my direct line 603-818-1069, or they can shoot me an email. They can send it to K as in kite, B as in boy, the number 4 partners. So KB4partners@gmail.com. And those are the two best ways to get a hold of me right now. You can look me up on Facebook, Bill Murray, but you might have to scan through a few. But I'm from like I said, I'm from Salem, New Hampshire, and those are the best ways right now to reach me. Appreciate it.
Bill, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We love having you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to The Money Tree Show. We hope to inspire you to achieve financial freedom. To see a sample real estate deal, head over to www.themoneytreeshow.com.